Alex Pereira previews his upcoming fight against Magomed Ankalaev. Alex says he's training up to 3 times a day in preparation for the fight. Alex vs. Magomed goes down at UFC 313 on March 8th. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Alex said he's a complete fighter, hard-working guy. I'm a complete fighter. I train hard. I'm the champ. We stay a little bit more quiet. He's the challenger. He's been talking a little bit, but I just stay composed. I just do my thing and focus on my work. I trained 3 times yesterday, so I'm just doing my thing. Everybody can interpret it a different way. He always talks that he's going to do this, or he's going to do that. Khalil Roundtree, a complete fighter, well-renowned fighter, isn't going to do anything Ankalaev is going to do. Michael Bisping and Paul Felder think Kevin Holland was out of line in his infamous appearance on the Jackson podcast last week. Kevin and Rampage Jackson got into a heated back and forth, and at one point Kevin told Rampage to shut the up.
Do you know what a 4570 is?
No, I don't.
Okay, then shut the up.
You'll tell me shut the
yeah. Because you don't understand what a 4570 is.
He doesn't know what
Now that whole back and forth stems from a joke that Rampage made about Kevin a few months prior. Bisping and Felder think Kevin took the joke a bit too seriously. They also say Kevin's comments in regards to quote-unquote not caring about his upcoming fight with Reiner de Ritter came back to bite him. Kevin ended up losing the fight via rear naked choke in the first round.
Yeah, man. Again, this is a guy that we talk very highly of in Kevin Holland. We like him. We like his style. That's not the place to do that, man. You go on this guy's podcast, and Rampage to me seems like he might bust balls, but he seems like a pretty relaxed, chill dude that's not out there to have you on to have an argument or a beef, right? He wants to shoot the he wants to get to know you, tell crazy stories. And for Kevin talking guns and start, telling him to shut the F up and all, I didn't like that. And that's bad juju, and he got his back.
I think Rampage made some kind of gay joke or something like that. I didn't actually see it, but that's what I think I understand. So he had a problem with that. It's like, it's a joke. He's having a laugh. That's all it is. And so to sit there and, and I was talking about this, to tell him to shut the F up and all the rest of it and have that kind of energy. And I like Kevin Holland. And if he sees this, he might be pissed off. He was being kind of disrespectful, saying, I don't give an F about the fight on Saturday night. Well, that one kind of bit him in the a little bit because de Ritter smoked him, and we'll get to that in a second. But
he did.
When you get to our age, when you get to Rampage's age, we're the same age, we're both former champions, you sit there, we don't feel that need to impress or prove ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
So Rampage was really restrained, and he was like, bro, what are you talking about? I said F it, and you're like, well, you said that to me. I said F you. Rampage might be 45. He's twice the size of him, and he's a beast. Let's just leave it at that.
Israel Adesanya says the middleweight division feels boring without him. Izzy's last fight was a 4th-round submission loss to Dricus Du Plessis in August last year. Izzy fights Nasruddin Imavov at UFC Saudi Arabia on February 1st and says he plans to go out there and make the division interesting again. He says he wants to prove to himself that he's still that dude. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Izzy said it's always good to mix things up, but again, this is just fighting. It'll be pretty boring in the lead up to this fight for the fans that like that kind of stuff, but the fight's gonna be very exciting. That's the sauce in this one. For me, it's just proving to myself that I'm still that dude. I know I'm one of the best, if not the best. I still feel like I'm improving, and I see the work that I do. I feel the work that I do, and I just want to show the world the work that I'm doing. I didn't know that all those other fights were in the month of February, but yeah, exciting times for 185. But to be honest, 185 feels boring without me. So yeah, I want to go in there and just make it interesting. Renato Moicano fired back at Paddy Pimblett. Paddy uploaded his live reaction to Renato's first-round submission loss to Islam Makhachev. Paddy was very critical of Renato for tapping and says he should have went out on his shield.
Oh ja, Moicano trying to work his way up. But does he give his neck? It's over. You tap that quick, Renato. Go asleep, lad. Go out on your shield. I hate that, You're in a choke, lad. You're not going to snap your neck. Go asleep. Second straight win by Dark, lad. That was too easy. It was like he half gave him the sub, lad. I thought that Renato would put up more of a fight than that, lad.
Renato fired back at Paddy on his YouTube channel. Recently, there were rumors that the UFC was working on a fight between Paddy and Michael Chandler. Renato says if Paddy doesn't end up fighting Chandler, he's more than willing to fight him.
And another thing is, Paddy Pimblett is talking a lot of he posted a video criticizing me for fighting for the belt. Let me tell you something, not Justin Gage, Paddy Pimblett. I don't know if you fight Chandler or not, but if you're not, just sign the contract and we could fight in Miami or in Brasilia. You know, that's going to be the last time that I mention you. If you want a fight, it is what it is, my brother, okay? How much better do you think you do against Islam Makhachev? I don't think you do much better than I did. I had a little time for preparation. Like I said before, you never got a fight in 1 day notice and on short notice. Imagine in 1 day notice, okay? So just think about that. If you want to fight, just sign the contract.
Bo Nickal responds to the notion that Magomed Ankalaev is going to simply just use his wrestling to beat Alex Pereira at UFC 313. According to some odds makers, Pereira versus Magomed is even, at -110 each. However, some sites have Pereira as the underdog. Bo says he's genuinely not very impressed with Magomed's ground game.
You know, here's the deal. I think Ankalaev's a smart guy. He's going to take him down.
It's got it, right?
He's just going to take him down. I don't think his wrestling is like unbelievable. Like he's not a wrestler. People think, oh, Russian wrestler. No, he's not a wrestler.
Yeah, I'm still going Pereira.
I think Pereira's gonna win as well. If Ankalaev like just wrestles the whole fight, he could probably win. But I don't think his wrestling is that good. Like he wrestled with Paul Craig and Paul Craig was taking him down. Yeah. And Paul Craig was reversing him and so I mean obviously Craig ended up submitting him, but I feel like not impressed with his ground game, his grappling. He's gonna have to strike with him at some point, and I think Pereira will knock him out. Mm-hmm. Like that's just the reality of the situation.
Michael Chandler responds to the rumors that he's fighting Paddy Pimblett next. Chandler made an appearance on Tim Welch's YouTube channel. He says fighting Paddy Pimblett sounds like a more fun day at the office compared to the caliber of opponents he's faced recently. However, Chandler is also interested in fighting Arman Tsarukyan.
You know, I definitely think it's possible at this point. You know, it's just this sport is so nuts, man. I mean, dude, if you would have asked me before the Arman versus Islam debacle, right, I'd be like, well, yeah, Paddy is a higher likelihood. And now it might have gone down because why wouldn't I fight Arman next, right? Arman's got to come back and fight his way back into the opportunity to fight for the title because of, you know, whether it was an injury or hurt or weight cut, whatever it may be. But Paddy's definitely a possibility. It's a big fight. It's a fun fight. It's a fight that I like stylistically. Not to take anything away from him, but when you fought Poirier, you fought Gaethje, you fought Oliveira, you fought Dan Hooker, fighting Paddy Pimblett sounds like a fun day at the office compared to some of those. And I like him. I do. I think Paddy's got a great brand. I like the way he carries himself. He gets a little fat in the offseason. That would be about the only thing I would change about him. But no, I think it'd be fun, and I'd love to go out there and lock horns with him.
For Arman first, would you prefer to get 15 minutes with Arman or 25?
I like the idea of 25 against Arman. You know, I always like the idea of 25. I think I can withstand that pace for 25 minutes, as I showed in my last fight. If it would be 15, it's 15. You know, coming back, you know, I was a little beat up after the last fight. Middle of the year, International Fight Week sounds fun. And whoever they throw at me, I think 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Arman, Paddy, you know, I didn't win my last fight, so I'm not in a position to be calling people out. Obviously, I had a big old call out live.
Tom Aspinall gives his thoughts on Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. On his TikTok, Tom reacts to Magomed recently saying that he will stand and strike with Alex and not use his wrestling. Tom doesn't think that's the best idea. Go give Tom's TikTok a follow. Links in the description.
He's not old for a bigger guy. I think he's 37, 38, so he's still got a bit of time if he wants to move up and try it heavyweight and stuff. This is what we need in the light heavyweight division, I think. I think that this fight is the one that I know I'm looking forward to. Big fan of both guys. We've got Alex Pereira knocking everybody senseless. And then we've got Ankalaev, who's on a massive win streak of his own, and potentially, stylistically, a bad matchup for Alex Pereira. But Ankalaev's going out there saying he's going to strike with him. Fair enough, strike with him. That'd be great. Strike with him all you want. Don't forget to make him think about the takedowns as well, because that's where the success is going to come. That's the biggest fight you can make at light heavyweight right now, so very exciting one.
Do you think if Pereira beats him, then he should go up to heavyweight?
I don't know. That's it. That's his prerogative, innit? I know he's getting up there in age a little bit, but he's not old for a bigger guy. I think he's 37, 38, so he's still got a bit of time if he wants to move up and try it heavyweight and stuff. So, interesting.
Israel Adesanya gives his prediction for the upcoming rematch between Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland at UFC 312. Izzy is currently coming off back-to-back losses for the first time in his pro MMA career, to both Dricus and Sean. He lost to Sean via unanimous decision in September of 2023, then lost to Dricus via submission in the 4th round this past August. Izzy is leaning towards Dricus winning once again. Additionally, he says he plans on being in attendance for the fight. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Izzy said, "I say that Dricus wins that one if it's close. Maybe. Or maybe it's more decisive this time. It's going to be a hard fight for both men, but I think I would give the edge to Dricus in this fight. I've got teammates fighting, so most likely we'll be there." Dricus Du Plessis has responded to Sean Strickland attempting to make a pact with him to keep their upcoming rematch on the feet at UFC 312.
"Listen, Dutchman, I'm going to need you to be a man. I'm going to need you to stand up, not go to your knees, and we're going to need to strike like men. I know you like to wrestle and you like to choke people out and do some dude, but I'll make a pact with you, you make a pact with me, that we stand up like men and we settle this like men."
In an interview with Fox Sports Australia, Dricus responded to Sean saying, "If you want to make pacts about us just standing, go do boxing. Last fight he said to the death, and I was ready for that. I went forward for 23 minutes of a 25-minute fight, but from him, it was jabs and teeps. Sean Strickland knows a lot of one-liners to sound tough, but I expose fake tough guys. I'm not here to make pacts. I'm here to win." Alex Pereira's sister Aline scored another victory in karate combat last night. Aline defeated Amanda Torres via TKO in the 2nd round. Right after the fight, Aline went right up to Alex, who was in the crowd. Alex posted this to his Instagram after the fight. He wrote, "Another great win. Shama." He followed up with this video to his story. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's in reference to Marvin Vettori making his UFC return after a 2-year layoff. It's from WonderBread556. It says, "Forgot Marvin was in the UFC." The second one's from Cam J1. It's in reference to Kevin Lee campaigning for a rematch with Tony Ferguson in GFL. It says, "Kevin Lee acting like beating a 40-year-old broken down Tony is redemption. That's Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell type energy." And the final one's from Ryzen1. It says, "Tony the type of guy to actually figure out where Kevin Lee fits into all this." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.